Maloney's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1277. Let me check that. Yeah. April 1st, 2024. 84 degrees on this day in 2015 and 9 degrees on this day in 1975. And thanks to our friends at Aquaside, we have ice outs.
They're back.
Yes.
Aquaside pellets.
Minnetonka went out on this day in 1889, 1902, 1911. White Bear Lake went out on this day in 2007, 2010, and I looked back and see what Minnetonka went out in 2007, 2010, just a day or two after that. Aquaside brings you these records of the day because the swimming season will soon be upon us. If you have water on the property, call Aquaside. They've been helping people maintain Great Lake shores for more than 60 years. With a complete line of lake and pond control products, they take care of everything from weeds to the algae. The best thing is the products work quickly and they're easy to use. I've used them. They're registered with the authorities, the EPA and the DNR. They're safe for you and the fish. There's no need to let weeds overtake your lake or pond this summer. Call Aquaside. They'll help you identify your weed problem. You'll get the right products. Your place will look great all summer long. Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
Hail the flashlight king.
Hail you! And now from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Sushiro.
Hi. Happy Easter.
Hey.
You have ham?
It's snowing right now.
Is it really?
April Fools.
Wait a minute.
I got a couple people on that one, too.
Don't you mean Happy Trans Day?
That was yesterday. And it raised quite a stink around the country that Biden seemingly declared Easter Sunday as International Transgender Day of Visibility. Well, not really. First of all, I don't even think there needs to be an International Transgender Day of Visibility, but transgender people really, really, really want to think they're special.
Right.
And in terms of visibility, I would just say it's a rather smart aleck remark, but it's pretty visible if you're transgender. It's you know,
it shows.
The visibility is right there.
It shows.
In any event, it's the last Sunday in March. Always gets this International Transgender Day deal. And ironically, the last day of March this year was Easter, which is very rare for Easter to be this early.
How many years in a row has it been for National Transgender Day? If it's
What do you mean, how many years in a row?
We say it's always.
That day is always celebrated on the last Sunday of March.
Right.
I'm sorry, not the last Sunday of March. Every March 31st.
31st, yeah. Since 2009, Chris.
Yeah, it's a brand new national holiday.
Got it.
And yesterday it happened to fall on Easter Sunday. Now,
was there a parade?
If I was president, I just would not have mentioned it. I would have realized, well, it's Easter. Let's leave well enough alone. If the trans people want to have their day of visibility, that's fine. But it doesn't interfere with me saying this is also Easter Sunday.
I think that depends on the party that you represent.
That's true. But I got a note from Howard who seeks clarity in murky times. And there were so many days yesterday. It was Anesthesia Tech Day, March 31st. Cesar Chavez Day, right? Easter Sunday, of course. Eiffel Tower Day, International Hug a Medievalist Day, as in a medieval person. I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah.
International Transgender Day of Visibility, National Baked Ham with Pineapple Day. It was National Bunsen Burner Day. It was National Clams on the Half Shell Day, National Cran Day, National Farm Workers Day, National Prom Day, National She's Funny That Way Day. It was Tater Day. It was Transfer Day in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I don't know what that means.
Who determines when these days are?
People.
How we start them?
World Backup Day. I don't know what that means either. Howard sent that, and he was saying it was pure coincidence that Easter happened to fall on all of these days. You know, the White House could have just as easily said, remember, everybody, it's National Clams on the Half Shell Day.
Very exciting.
Yes, you in the back.
The president, though, did offer Easter thoughts yesterday with the bunny. He was in the background. Thank you to the goose for making me aware of this audio.
Yeah.
And by the way, say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here so they can see you.
Oyster bunny.
The oyster bunny.
The oyster bunny.
bunny.
He was
Oyster
right there.
bunny.
Remember a few years ago, the
Yes.
bunny, they had to drag the bunny away because the bunny was starting to grill Biden about some stuff.
No. The bunny was the distraction.
The bunny
piece.
dragged Biden away because the
Correct.
press was starting to hector
Yeah.
Biden about some
And
real
he's
life
waving his
information.
hands.
And the bunny's going, come on.
This way, Mr.
Let's
President.
go over here. Take you back to the hut. Let's go. The hutch or whatever wherever the bunnies live.
It's the oyster bunny.
Hey, it's Oyster, man. It's the Oyster Bunny. Hey, how you doing? Hey.
Give him a pardon.
You know where Biden celebrated Easter? Where I would have if I was president.
Nantucket.
Camp David.
Wait a minute. Didn't they do an Easter egg hunt
That's today, Kenny. It's happening as we speak.
the day after Easter?
Well, I suppose on Sunday, Kenny, the White House staff is with their
Why
families.
are you talking in that tone to me? I asked a legitimate question and you're treating me like I just came out of the womb.
Well, because any reasonable moron would know the answer to the question.
You wouldn't think that it would be on a Friday or the Saturday before Easter? You just assume it's after Easter? Do we do that on Christmas too? Celebrate the day after? Do we celebrate on July 5th? Do we
Maybe it's-
celebrate on June 1st,
Maybe it was
Memorial Day?
because all the candy is discounted. Maybe they wanted to try to get it cheaper.
That's not a legitimate question in your mind?
It's a very good question, Kenny, and I apologize
I don't like your
if you
tone.
were offended.
I don't like your tone. And yeah, I was offended.
Seems to
Straighten
me
up.
they always do it on a Monday, maybe on a Saturday. You know, I don't know. But also, I learned
Truth
that
is, I don't care.
no religious messages were to have been inscribed on any of the eggs.
Oh, like he is risen or Alleluia. You can
can't
say it
have-
now. You can say it now. You can say Alleluia. Lent is over.
Like, couldn't you say it? When
Can't say it during Lent. Don't say it during Lent.
Oh,
Why do
well,
you assume that the whole world is Catholic, Matthew? Well, what is that weird assumption?
They're
now
not-
he's after
they're
you.
not.
He's off my back.
What kind of
He's-
tone was that? I don't approve of that tone.
Yeah.
Whatever that tone
Good.
was.
Good.
Makes
I'm
me
glad you
upset.
noticed. I'm not going to sit here and let you.
Bad mouth the
Badmouth
oyster
America.
bunny.
Yeah, but I don't like your tone.
Can I tell you something?
Okay. Let's get back on track here.
Yeah,
Where is common sense?
I don't know. It's supposed to
It's
be
not
here.
over here.
It's supposed to be here.
I
In your
There you
logic.
go.
I was reading my paper guy has done a bang up job. I got the papers today at 8:15. That's pretty good.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, that's a.
Seriously?
Yesterday they came at 10:30, and I ran out to say he has risen.
Aren't they supposed to be there at like 5 in the morning?
right? He must have a big route.
I have a very brief story about
Steve.
paper delivery.
I was going to go into a topic.
Okay, but I was at the dollar store.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
When was it? I was at the dollar store on Saturday,
Okay.
and there was a lady that was there with one of her children. She was getting Easter things.
It's a long story.
Yes. And then she said at the counter, I have to go finish my paper route.
Okay.
This was at about 12 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's not good.
And she still had I don't know how many papers to deliver,
Wow.
but she was at the dollar store,
Yeah.
not
what
delivering
paper,
her papers
Matthew?
first.
What newspaper?
I didn't inquire. I chose not to engage.
Back when
You thought
America,
you'd just bring the story.
Yeah. Hopefully she's a listener while she's delivering.
back when
Maybe it's-
America was a real country.
Yeah, you were saying something, Joe. Go ahead.
What happened to common sense? There's a good line for you.
I was reading the lead editorial in the Wall Street Journal today, and the only thing that leaped out at me is, where's the common sense? The Environmental Protection, and I have a solution. I have an answer to this. The Environmental Protection Agency, and remember, they're unelected. These are bureaucrats. They chose Good Friday to roll out an electric truck mandate. They did this on Good Friday. The Wall Street Journal surmises to have fewer people notice. Biden officials well know the damage they are doing, but the damage is in the name of climate change. EPA's new emission standards for heavy-duty trucks will effectively require that electric semis make up an increasing share of manufacturers' sales from 2027 through 2032, similar to its recent rule for passenger cars. The difference is that the truck mandate is more costly and more fanciful. EVs make up less than 1% of U.S. heavy-duty truck sales. Now, bear these figures in mind.
How much?
Less than 1%.
Okay.
And nearly all of that is in California, which heavily subsidizes and mandates their purchase. So if it's so great, start with that. If it's so great, why wouldn't we be doing this of our own free will? None of us want to destroy the earth. But then again, if you're a GLer, you don't think driving is destroying the earth.
Right.
But in California, the electric trucks are heavily subsidized and mandated. The new EPA rule will require electric models to account for 60% of new urban delivery trucks and 25% of long-haul tractor sales by 2032. That's only 7, 6, 8 years from now. That's not long. The harm is predictable in return for no climate benefit. Now, can anyone begin to tell me what the harm is before I continue? Because it should leap out at you.
Well, I would think it would be the enormous amount of batteries that they would have to carry on board, far more than a regular sedan.
That's one.
The heavy weight, they're going to do more damage to the road, that weight. Other than those two, I'm coming up
They'll
blank.
carry fewer goods because of the weight.
Okay,
That
sure.
will make products harder to achieve,
Yep.
which will drive up costs.
You'll need more of them on the road, right?
You'll
Yep.
need more, resulting in more congestion.
Yep.
Start with
Imagine
the
a future, the freight trucks that deliver bread and milk to our grocery store
Well,
shelves,
I'd like to get
and
rid of
the
the F
buses
word.
that take children to school and parents to work. Imagine all the
Turn her off,
heavy-duty
please.
vehicles.
The F word being freight.
That's right.
Yeah.
Start with the fact that no electric long-haul tractors are currently in mass production.
Oh, wow.
Most electric trucks cannot go more than 170 miles on a charge. Electric semis require bigger and heavier batteries, which means they must carry lighter loads to avoid damaging the roads. Fleet operators will have to use more trucks to transport the same number of goods.
Right.
This will increase vehicle congestion, especially around ports and distribution centers. EPA says its rule will reduce pollution in environmental justice communities near major truck freight routes. B
Wait.
as in B,
Wait.
S as in S.
Environmental
Justice.
communities?
Mhm.
What is that?
So if you live near a truck distribution center, you apparently live in an environmental justice community. But more traffic will result in more pollution. Electric trucks also generate more soot from their wear and tear on roads and vehicle braking.
Oh, yeah. They're going to go through more tires, right?
Power generation and transmission will have to massively expand to support millions of new so-called zero-emission trucks. An electric semi consumes about 7 times as much electricity as in a single charge as a typical home does in a day. Truck charging depots can draw as much power from the grid as small cities. By 2030, electric trucks are projected to consume about 11% of California's electricity. The additional power to fuel electric trucks won't come from renewables, which cannot be built fast enough to meet demand. Most trucks will recharge at night when solar is not available, since drivers don't want to waste prime daylight driving hours. Let me stop right there. Wouldn't it make sense, and wouldn't they find support if the manufacturers of these big trucks said, we're not doing it?
No, we're not. Yeah, that makes sense.
Why don't they stand up and say, no, this doesn't make sense?
What power does the EPA have to just pull this new rule out of their fanny and then enforce it? They're not lawmakers. They're not elected officials. How do they have that power?
Because they have the backing of a Democratic administration, which would support this mandate.
So, in theory, then, the person in the Oval Office has control over the EPA.
I would say so. It's a Nixon-founded body, by the way. Yes, you.
To answer your question, wasn't it the Ford CEO? Didn't he stand up and say this is a?
I don't know. The Ford guy did. Toyota did.
Toyota did.
I thought Ford did as well.
I think
in
Ford.
August.
Some of those vans that Ford makes are electric. Joe, just for the heck of it, and I'm hoping you have a ballpark figure for me here. For the heck of it, I looked up a brand new 2024 Peterbilt 389, which is a giant semi truck.
Right.
I can't find mileage on it, so I'm assuming it's brand new, being a 2024, $248,000.
Mm-hmm.
What do you suppose these new electric rigs are going to cost? At least double that, wouldn't you say?
Yes. So therefore, why can't the CEO of Peterbilt and Mack and the rest of them go to Washington,
Volvo, yeah,
and say, you make no sense. This cannot be done in any sensible way. Some 1.4 million chargers will have to be installed by 2032 to achieve EPA's mandate. That's 15,000 chargers a month. This will require major grid upgrades where there are shortages of critical components such as transformers. It could take 3 to 8 years to develop transmission and substations in many places to support truck chargers. Truckers estimate the EPA rule will cost utilities $370 billion to upgrade their networks.
Oh my God.
On top of that, truckers will have to invest $620 billion in their own charging infrastructure. That doesn't include the cost of electric trucks. Kenny nailed it, which are typically 2 to 3 times more expensive than diesel cabs.
So 250 times 3. 750?
Mm-hmm.
$750,000.
Okay, here's where you go. Replacing diesel trucks with electric will cost the industry tens of billions each year. Truckers will pass on these costs to customers, meaning U.S. manufacturers and retailers, which will ultimately pass them on to Americans in higher prices. This is President Biden's trickle-down economics. Let me stop right there.
Okay.
I wish to address this, and I think America should, from just this standpoint of common sense and rationality. Take the climate out of it. There will be no discernible climate effect. That's nonsense. That's shouldn't even, but that's what they're hinging this on. Well, what are they doing? They're wrecking Western civilization. It has nothing to do with the environment. You cannot prove to anyone that switching to electric trucks is going to do anything. That you can't. So therefore, what we're witnessing in our cultural decline is that political urgencies for the sake of remaining in power or to take over power trump common sense. We used to be a land of common sense and rational behavior. We can get to that in a minute, too, with infrastructure problems. Now we're not a land of common sense and rational behavior. We're a land of chasing whimsical and arbitrary dreams because, A, there are people who think that will change the climate, which it won't, and B, because it's going to wreck the civilization that we have. It's going to wreck the economy. It's going to wreck entrepreneurship. It's going to wreck competitiveness. It's going to tear apart the fabric that made us the United States in the first place. This can't work. So I want the manufacturers of the trucks to stand up. I wanted the car manufacturers years ago to stand
Put
up
your foot down.
and say, no, we're a private business here. For all I know, the government doesn't give any money to Peterbilt. Maybe they do. I don't know. But if they don't, Peterbilt ought to stand up and say, we reject this.
Well, the
We're in the
trucking
business of making trucks, and we're not going to make them the way you want us to make them.
Do you think, it just occurred to me, do you think the end goal is government controlling the trucking industry? It's already so heavily regulated. Is this just another step in them controlling every part of our lives,
Yes.
including the delivery of goods?
Yes. It's part it's a part of undoing capitalism. I don't see how there's any other way you can look at it.
Because it's just so blatantly clear that what they're doing is asinine. I mean, every step, mythical step that the United States makes forward as far as climate change, it's immediately 3 steps back when you figure in what China and India and all these other countries are doing to the environment.
Plus, you could go on to Google right now, and you can find 10 articles about this country is not going to have enough electrical generation for the plans these people have.
Part of me wants to say that this is so absurd, Joe, that this will never happen. It seems like it's the idea of a bunch of kindergarten kids just sitting around, maybe developmentally disabled kindergarten kids sitting around trying to solve problems. It's so absurd that it doesn't seem possible, but yet the things we've seen in the last
It's so sad to see this. It's so sad to see a once great functioning country